What is good, my Cowboy Nation? I haven't made a video in a long time, although I've wanted to. I am currently in the freezing state of Virginia for work, where I'll be for the next couple months, and it snowed yesterday. They were expected to get 2 to 8 inches. Ungodly cold, especially coming from Southern California. So much stuff is being talked about. Not a lot of action, but there's so much speculation about the Dallas Cowboys free agency, yada yada. And like I said, I wanted to make a video before about a couple of our free agents to be especially, DAK Prescott, AMARI Cooper, and Byron Jones. You haven't really heard a lot about Byron Jones, and I think they'll end up letting him go, which I'm really not too upset about. I like Byron Jones. He's a good player. He's just not going to be worth the money that somebody's going to pay him, and he will get paid. But he just doesn't. He doesn't get turnovers. He's a good shutdown corner, but if you can't create turnovers, it's kind of hard to win, So with me, Byron Jones, I really don't care much if he leaves. I do think that we need a cornerback, a defensive back that can create turnovers. And I know I posted on Reddit, in the Cowboys subreddit, which I fucking hate, excuse my French, that Chris Harris is going to be a free agent, and he's a little older, but he's got something like 16 interceptions in his career. Byron Jones, through his first 4 years in the league, 4 or 5 years in the league, has 2. So he's not as young, maybe not as athletic as Byron Jones, but he can play the ball. Byron Jones just absolutely cannot play the football. So Darius Slay, I don't want to break the bank for Darius Slay. He's gonna garner top dollar also, and I don't think we need to break the bank. Now, I've always been a big believer that a good pass rush makes a defensive backfield better. So I think we need to focus more on that, more so than signing or breaking the bank on a defensive back. We're also going to need safety help, which we can probably address in the draft. There are a couple of safeties also who will be free agents. Jesus. So that leaves me with AMARI Cooper. I seen something that said Philadelphia Eagles would be interested in AMARI Cooper if Dallas lets him walk. I like AMARI Cooper, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's top 5 in the league. He's about to be paid like he's top 5 in the league. And I understand the market. I know how that works. But does that mean that you need to put yourself in a bad situation because the market dictates that you do that? The market suggested that Jay Cutler be paid. How about that? How'd that turn out? I just don't. I was very disappointed with AMARI Cooper last year. There were several games where he just disappeared. I would honestly, in my heart, I would be okay with letting AMARI Cooper walk if it meant that we could save some money, and signing. I would rather have Gallup as my 1 and Dez Bryant as my 2. That's just me, and maybe that's the home. I love the competitive fire that Dez brings to the field. AMARI does not have that. Dez reminds me so much of Michael Irvin, and I remember being younger and watching Michael Irvin play the game, and the energy and the electricity that he played with was contagious. AMARI does not have that. Michael Gallup is young, but he's got more fire. To me, it's my opinion. He has more fire than AMARI Cooper. AMARI will catch a touchdown, give a high five, and he's quiet the entire time, which is fine. It's not a bad thing. I'm not here to knock him on that. But for me, I like when Dez Bryant gets a first down, slams the ball, and that hypes up your team. People feed off of that. AMARI doesn't have that. We need that kind of on the field leadership, Amari doesn't provide that. So for me, I would be okay with letting Amari Cooper go, even if it's to Philadelphia. Signing Dez Bryant, Gallup is going to be a very good number 1 wide receiver, and I'll ride with that. There's been talk about getting what's the tight end from San Diego, or from the Chargers. I like Blake Jarwin, honestly. I would let Blake Jarwin start, get him a comparable backup, work on his run blocking. Blake Jarwin has explosiveness, which we missed with or we didn't have when we had Jason Witten. Jason Witten says he wants to come back, and I hope it's not with the Cowboys. I love Jason Witten, but I mean, it's time to roll. You're anytime that you're hindering your team's progress, it's time to go somewhere else, or it's time to retire. And I feel like he did last year significantly. I felt like there were times where we could have used a Blake Jarwin, an explosive tight end, put some pressure on a defense, and Jason Witten just doesn't do that. He can't move. He is down wherever he catches the ball, 100% of the time. So I'm good with Blake Jarwin. And then that leaves me with the elephant in the room, which is Dak Prescott. So reports came out. We don't know the particulars of what was offered, but reports came out saying that the Cowboys offered him $33 million and he turned it down. So I don't have the numbers in front of me. Then there were speculation. He did an interview with that kid and said, she asked him about $40 million contract, and he said, yes. Of course, he was kind of speaking in generalities. No way in hell. No way in God. No way he should get $40 million. The only quarterback right now that you could literally hand the contract over with and put your price on is Patrick Mahomes. That's it. Dak Prescott's name should not be mentioned in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes. Completely two different quarterbacks. Significant difference in skill level. Just stop. Don't even do that. If I'm not mistaken, the highest paid right now is Russell Wilson at $36 million a year. Russell Wilson is a better quarterback, and it's not even close. A better quarterback than Dak Prescott, and it's not even close. So then I watch these talk shows. I hear Chris Broussard saying, but Carson Wentz got paid and Jared Goff got paid. Yeah, they did. Do you think the Rams regret signing Jared Goff to that massive contract? I think they do. Do you think that the Eagles regret signing Carson Wentz to that massive contract? I think they do a little bit. Although I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Jared Goff, and I think that Carson Wentz is a better quarterback talent-wise than Dak Prescott is. So if you were to ask me where should Dak Prescott's limit be, it would be not a dollar more than Carson Wentz, because I don't think he's better than Carson Wentz. So to turn down $33 million, plus, like everybody says, the endorsements that you're making, you're not even in my opinion, you're not a $33 million quarterback. If I was a general manager, I wouldn't pay you $33 million. I would offer you 28 to 30. And if you don't take it, then hey. The question that I always go back to is, if we don't have Dak Prescott this past year where we finished 8-8, let's just say, for the sake of this argument, we don't have Dak Prescott and we have Matthew Stafford, or we have Andy Dalton. Do we still finish 8-8? And I would argue, yes, we would still finish 8-8. So I don't think that Dak Prescott won us any games with his arm. He didn't take over a game and dominate with his arm, and it just didn't happen. And hopefully, I'm hoping that Jerry's going to use that against him when they're talking about negotiations. Hey, you had top 3 running back, top offensive line in the league. You have a number 1 receiver, a very good number 2 receiver, a Hall of Fame tight end. Yet you didn't score points against the Saints. You didn't score points against the Patriots. You didn't score points against the Eagles in the second game, the most important game of the season, and you failed to score. And I'm not saying it's all Dak's fault. However, he's the only player on offense that touches the ball every single down. There's got to be some accountability there. And if you're gonna, and I keep hearing Chris Broussard, he had a career year. So his career year yielded us an 8-8 record. Think about that for a minute. So let's go back to his first year, 2016. I can't remember how many touchdowns and interceptions he had. It wasn't a lot. He didn't throw the ball a ton. Ezekiel Elliott had a career year, had 1,600 yards rushing. We finished that season 13-3. So when Ezekiel Elliott has a career year, we win 13 games. When Dak Prescott has a career year, we win 8 games. What has changed between now and then? Have we lost any significant players? Nope. Actually, we've gained Amari Cooper. Did we lose anybody to injury? We were relatively healthy last year. You can say guys played banged up. Everybody plays banged up. So I don't want to hear that. So there's speculation, and this is all complete speculation. I see Tua said that he'd love to play in Dallas. I'm not necessarily a huge Tua guy, especially coming off the injury that he had. Would I be interested in entertaining that? It depends on what we would have to give up. How do we get to number 3, where Detroit is at, in order to draft him? Because if Detroit doesn't draft him, Miami's going to draft him at 4. So how do you get to number 3 without hurting your team? And then he's going to need a year to rehab. So I don't see how that's even possible. I mean, who are you going to put Cooper Rush into play? I don't think that's even a. However, I do want to put a caveat on that. Everybody talks about how great McCarthy is. They call him the quarterback whisperer. But then as soon as you talk about getting average to maybe below average quarterbacks, that's a dumb move. But if McCarthy's the quarterback whisperer, shouldn't he be able to elevate them to at least an average quarterback? Because that's what I think Dak Prescott is. I think if there's tiers, right? If we're breaking it down into tiers, I think Dak Prescott is in the 3rd tier. So the first tier, you have 2 players. You have Russell Wilson and you have Pat Mahomes. Second tier, you have Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and a couple other players. And then the 3rd tier, I think you have the Jared Goffs and the Dak Prescotts and the Matt Staffords and the Andy Daltons. So can he not elevate at least one tier? But I just don't think that Tua is going to happen. Not necessarily. That's just maybe not a smart move unless. I just don't see it. I don't see that happening. So, what else did I hear? Matthew Stafford. I heard that the Lions want to trade Matthew Stafford and draft Tua. So, I would love to have Matthew Stafford. I'm not a big Matthew Stafford guy either, but talent-wise, and if you've ever seen any analysts talk about how talented quarterbacks in the NFL, they will say that Matthew Stafford is top 3 talent-wise, just pure talent. Talent doesn't win you games, and you could talk about his record and Pat Stafford or whatever you want to call him for padding his stats. He's always had a terrible team. The Lions organization is just it's an absolute mess. So you put him in Dallas, where he's from, by the way, played high school in Dallas, behind that offensive line with a top 3 running back, a wide receiver core. I would say we have a top 5 wide receiver core with Cooper, Gallup, and Cobb, and then Jarwin. I think Matt Stafford could do amazing there. There's no question Matt Stafford is much more talented on pure talent, raw talent, than Dak Prescott is. So I would love. I don't know what we would have to give up for that. So he missed a bunch of games last year, so I don't know where he's at injury wise. But if he's healthy, 100%, I would trade. I don't know what Detroit would want for him. He's on a huge contract. He'd have to restructure his contract. I would trade some draft picks or a draft pick for Matthew Stafford. Let Dak walk, get Matthew Stafford, restructure his contract, sign Amari Cooper to a long-term deal, franchise tag Byron Jones. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. If you guys are, I want to know what you guys think. If Dak, how pissed off would you be if Dak is not back next year? And listen, Jerry Jones may be crazy, but he's not stupid. You know what I mean? He's not going to do something dumb that's going to put the team at. He's not going to do something dumb that's going to hurt. Do something dumb that's going to hurt the team. And that's another thing I want to talk about. People keep talking about they need to sign Dak to this long-term deal. Jerry Jones is 78 years old. 78. I have to think that in the back of his mind, he knows he may not be here on this earth much longer, so he wants to win now. Does Dak Prescott give us the best chance to win in the next year or 2 years? Or would that be somebody like Tom Brady or Matthew Stafford, right? He's going to swing for the fences, I hope. I hope he takes a chance, swings for the fences, and you don't win by playing it safe, man. You have to take risks sometimes, and this would be... I think we've seen Dak Prescott's ceiling. That's my opinion. I think we've seen the best of Dak Prescott. I don't even think... statistically, this was his best year. I've seen some progression, but I think he was better his rookie year. I don't know. I've seen progression in some areas. I just don't think he's what we're going to need him to be. So I would take a risk, and I would do what it takes to get Tom Brady for 2 years, draft a quarterback this year to play behind, to learn behind Brady for the next 2 years, or up the ante a little bit and go get Matthew Stafford. But I want to know what you guys think. In the event that Dak is not here, who would you like to see here? Even if it's a short-term fix, if we're going to make a serious run in the next 2 years, what do you guys want to see? And how much? Also, everybody always talks about, you need to sign Dak. I want to know what you guys think about where his cap should be. What is your limit for paying Dak? Are you going to pay him $40 million a year? Do you think that's a smart move? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'm going to drop some more videos while I'm here because I got nothing else to do. So let me know what you guys think, man, and we'll talk. Peace.